From doing these tier list videos, I started to really realize who kind of has a little bit more of a chance and who has less of a chance as far as DLC goes. And one popular character that I see people always rave about, who people always really want, is the Doom guy. And while personally I actually love Doom, and I don't really care that much about games like Banjo-Kazooie and Undertale, I just think games like Banjo-Kazooie and Undertale have a much higher chance of getting in, given all the information we know, but a big part of that does include their moveset. And for me, I feel like there's no way to really put the Doom guy in the game when it's a character who comes from a first-person shooter, and Smash Brothers is too afraid to put in a character who uses guns that shoot real bullets. Of course, you could still use like alien guns or just make the gun shoot like laser bullets. I'm pretty sure the gun in Doom, like the new Doom that made by Bethesda, is kind of weird. But the thing is, yeah, it's a very brutal and violent game. And I don't know. To me, it just doesn't quite add up. Not to mention, just because he's an iconic game character, he's not really one who had personality. He's really not on the level that people seem to think he is. Yes, Doom has been around for a long time, and for me, it's definitely the first person shooter I played. But I just don't think it's on the level that people really think it is. This is coming from someone who grew up playing Doom. However, it does kind of beg the question of why do I think a different character who's also from a very violent and brutal game has an extremely large chance, and it really has all to do with personality, perception in popular culture and popular media, and moveset potential. And that would be Scorpion from Mortal Kombat. Now, if there's going to be any Mortal Kombat character, it's going to be Scorpion. I know Smash has a reputation of always including the main protagonist from a game, and Scorpion's arguably not the main protagonist, but Scorpion is by far the most iconic, and he is sort of the mascot of Mortal Kombat. I mean, it would be kind of strange if they put Liu Kang in the game. Not only is Liu Kang not that, spectacular, I mean, Ryu is basically a basic karate guy, but he's so iconic as far as Street Fighter goes. He is the main face of Street Fighter. Liu Kang never really captured that. He's the hero of Mortal Kombat, don't get me wrong, but is he like the main character or main protagonist? I mean, I think part of the allure of Mortal Kombat was that didn't really matter as much. Like, yes, in the movies, Liu Kang was the hero, but that really wasn't, like, the full point and the full extent of Mortal Kombat. They really pushed that boundary of, like, everyone's killing each other, blah, blah, blah. So, for me, personally, I think that when it comes to Mortal Kombat, it's all about Scorpion and Sub-Zero. And while it would be super dope to include both, just like how Smash includes both Ryu and Ken, sadly, you can't really do an Echo Fighter for anyone in Mortal Kombat. Even though Street Fighter in Mortal Kombat both do the thing where there's two characters who are of similar style, similar appearance, and they're rivals with each other, Scorpion and Sub-Zero just don't fit that mold nearly as well as Ryu and Ken did, sadly enough. However, it doesn't really matter because Scorpion has kind of stood up on his own. He has really become his own special character, and he's kind of the fan favorite of everyone, and especially the favorite of Ed Boon, who is the lead director on basically everything Mortal Kombat right now. He's the owner of Mortal Kombat, from what I understand, as one of the original co-creators, not the original creator by himself, but a co-creator. And as the other co-creator doesn't work with NetherRealms, it's basically all up to Ed Boon. Now, the other thing is about Scorpion is if they did put him in, it wouldn't matter because, like I'm saying, it wouldn't matter between other Mortal Kombat characters because the pop culture references with Scorpion is through the roof. Now, obviously, you could do any number of phrases he could say during quotes or like during taunts where he could say like whatever quotes or whatever. I don't think they would do that because it's Super Smash Brothers and there's not a bunch of voice lines in the game for characters usually. But I mean, he would at least yell out, "Get over here," and he would probably do it when he would do his forward B move. Now that could be, maybe he'll only do it if he actually hits the connection and says it. But man, wouldn't it be so awesome and iconic in Smash if every time you nailed that rope throw, you pulled someone towards you, you would hear the iconic "Get over here." And I don't care who voices it. I don't care if it's Ed Boon voicing it or someone else. No matter what, that iconic him yelling out "Get over here" would just be so perfect in Smash. It just fits way too well. It's popular in popular culture and popular media, so like, and then of course not only that, but for his final smash, you could also have an iconic finish him being yelled out, and his final smash could be a fatality. Now, some characters have very bloody iconic fatalities, like Sub Zero and Kano, where Sub Zero pulls off your head and your spinal cord is dangling down. Kano will reach into your chest and pull out your heart. There's really none of that needed for Scorpion, whose original fatality was ripping his face off, revealing a flaming skull, and then he would incinerate your body, turning into a skeleton. And in this, it would be basically my idea would be he would rip his face off, revealing the flaming skull, and then he would burn your body. You probably wouldn't melt to a skeleton, but it would do a lot of damage and you'd fly away or something like that. Um, yes, Mortal Kombat's a game about killing, but the funny thing is that while Scorpion fights with a sword and sometimes even an axe, that doesn't really not fit in Smash. That actually fits perfectly. Plenty of characters fight with swords and blades of already. I was going to say other weapons, but really most characters just kind of fight with swords in Smash. Either way, it actually fits perfectly, but it also works as putting Scorpion in the game, who's a ninja character who, like Ryu Hayabusa could be, but Ryu Hayabusa would totally rely on his swords and other weapons from his arsenal of weapons from the 3D Ninja Gaiden games. Whereas Scorpion actually is mostly a hand-to-hand fighter who happens to have a sword usually, and like I said, sometimes he has an axe. Like Mortal Kombat 3, he used an axe. So there's a you could put weapons in his moveset, but like really the sword would probably just be like one of his smash attacks or something like that, which honestly could make him a really cool character. Could make him like a really cool strange version of Ganon or something like that. Now obviously, if we're going to talk about the moveset, the thing about Scorpion is that he has to stay unique and original to the fact that he's a fighting game character. And that means there's a lot of fighting game moves and abilities that he already has. So for his like down A attack or whatever, it would probably be like one of his low kicks, and his actual down smash would probably be like a sweep kick, sort of like Ryu, but a lot of characters have like sweep kicks for their down smash. His forward smash could obviously be the sword move. It could even be shooting a fireball out of his mouth, like right on the ground in front of him, something like that. And then his but his A attacks, most of his tilt, whether it be tilts or his jab combo or whatever, would probably be just actual moves, punches and kicks from Mortal Kombat games. Especially if they wanted to take something from Mortal Kombat 9, 10, or 11. Because Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3 kind of has a lot of like Mortal Kombat 1 and 2, it's like you just like mash punch, and they just kind of do these ha 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 ha, like these punches that are like right in place where they just keep doing the same like punching motion right in front of them. It was a really weird game, and it wasn't really fixed until Mortal Kombat 3 added a proper combo system into the game. Um, so as far as the special moves, that is where it might be a little trickier, because I don't really know what Scorpion's recovery would be other than doing like a teleport. But I feel like the teleport would be best as a counter move. And my reason why is because if the teleport is a counter move, then that means he'll only teleport behind you like how Greninja does it. Because if he teleports, if he can just teleport to the other side of the screen, the other side of the map at any time, that would be way too broken in Super Smash Brothers. So let's say if his like forward B was this a teleport that went all the way across the screen, that would just make no sense, and it'd be like anytime you would try to put down like pressure on him against a ledge, he could just get out of it. Or maybe you don't want to be edge guarded as well, and you just teleport to the other side of the map. It just doesn't work. So there needs to be a way for him to teleport in a way that would make sense. And typically his teleport move always like hits in the back. Like normally you have to like block it or something. Like it just like he just is right behind you with his fist out. So to me it would actually work better as like a counter move, even though it's not a counter move in Mortal Kombat. So maybe the teleport would actually be not a good idea, unless maybe also the teleport works the same way it does in Mortal Kombat, where you just get behind them instantly, and it's actually like a really short range teleport that just it's like very, very short range teleport where you just kind of smoke vanish right where you are and pop up a little bit in front of you where you were and punching the other way. So it'd be almost in that sense, it'd almost be like Sheik and Zerd Suit Samus's down B, where they do a little flip over you and kick backwards in the direction they were formerly. So maybe it would be like that, but instead of doing the leap, it's more of like an instant teleport type deal. If they did something like that, then it could work. And then again, that would still work better as the down B. And I kind of want the teleport to be down B and not like be his recovery. He does have a potential recovery with this like flaming Shoryuken style move. It's not like a Shoryuken with his fist, but he does like a flip kick. He does like a backwards flip kick with his feet on fire. That could be his recovery, but I don't know. I would have to see. There's plenty of other things that could be his recovery. I was gonna say his up B. You know what's iconic in Mortal Kombat is the uppercut, and that should probably just be his up smash. More sort of like how Ryu and Ken have the uppercut as their up smashes. In Mortal Kombat, that's the most fitting. Is just have that uppercut right there because that is just so Mortal Kombat. Uppercuts. That's what that game's all about. So for his up B, that's where I don't know if they would want to do the flip kick. I don't know if they'd want to do like another teleport move or just a lunging move that propels himself forward. Teleports and recoveries aren't always the simplest. The funny thing is with Ryu, all of his moves made sense. Everybody knew his forward B would be the spin kick. Everybody knew his up B would be the Shoryuken. Everybody knew that his neutral B would be the Hadouken. Everybody knew those things about Ryu. It's too obvious. So yeah, of course we're going to get that for Ryu. Then as far as his forward B goes, that's definitely what I want to be the get over here spear throw. So it'd be kind of like a command grab that's got some range to it. I don't know if it would just go all the way across the map, but probably not. But I would have to say it would have to have some really good range. And then yeah, and then of course his neutral B. That one I don't quite know. Sometimes Scorpion can throw fireballs. Maybe he could throw like a fireball right on the ground in front of him. Or maybe sometimes he has the Hellfire where he can raise his hands up and then flames come up. It could be kind of similar to Palutena's neutral B, where she makes an explosion happen in front of her. But then, of course, it would be something coming from the ground. It could be a move kind of similar to what's his face? Well, Richter and Simon have it too, where they have the holy water. But Ness has the PK fire, and Robin has the fire on the ground too. A lot of characters have these moves where a pillar of fire comes from the ground. That could work very well for Scorpion if he could do like a forward B and make fire appear from the ground. And yeah, and so that would be his special moves right there. And then, of course, we would talk about his stage or his appearance. Let's talk about his stage really quick because Mortal Kombat has a lot of iconic battle stages. And for Ryu, they did Ryu stage. So that's like the only stage that represents Street Fighter is Ryu stage because, well, it's for Ryu. So it makes sense that it's Ryu's stage. So for Scorpion, it would have to be the Nether Realm because the Nether Realm represents what Scorpion's all about. He's like a ninja who was killed and has come back from the Nether Realm. So you would be in the Nether Realm, which would be like this fiery place that's kind of reminiscent of hell. So basically, to me, it would end up being similar to something like Norfair and some of the Metroid levels where the lava actually touches the fighters. I think that would be a really cool idea. But also, what they could do, if they were really smart and not stupid, is if they could do, like, the pit stage from Mortal Kombat 1, and I believe there's one very similar in Mortal Kombat 2, where it's like you're just above a pit of spikes. So that would be a brilliant idea for a Mortal Kombat themed stage. And I would honestly enjoy that more than other things. And also, let's talk about Mortal Kombat's soundtrack. Mortal Kombat soundtrack is badass. Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3 actually have really good iconic songs. So I would love for just a bunch of music from those three games. But of course, You could include cooler songs from Mortal Kombat 9, 10, and 11 as well, and that could be a lot of fun. As far as his appearance, now this would be fun because his appearance, you could easily screw this up. Because if you put in like a blue ninja color to represent Sub Zero, but you're playing as Scorpion, that would kind of look really silly. But there are some colors that would end up being pretty cool. Like if they did like a tribute to Noob Saibot with like all black, or a tribute to Smoke with gray, well, that actually works because Smoke actually shoots a spear out in a lot of his early inceptions in the Mortal Kombat games. Same with Reptile, who Reptile in Mortal Kombat 1 had both Sub Zero and Scorpion's moves. So, in fact, that's one of the things I like about playing in Sub Zero in Injustice 2, is that when I give him the green colors, it's like, okay, well, Reptile used to, like, when human Reptile, whereas in Mortal Kombat 1, he actually could shoot the ice moves. But of course, even in Injustice 2, Sub Zero can wear the colors of like all these different ninjas. So it's kind of silly. So Smash might do that. Smash might give him a red, a blue, a purple, a green, and a black and a gray, and be like, look, he can be all the ninjas. But what I would also like is if they did it to where Scorpion had two different designs, because I always like when they do this with DLC characters, where they give him one design from two different games. So it'd be really cool if he had like his classic Mortal Kombat 2 design, but he also had like a very more newly inspired design, like one from Mortal Kombat 11. But I mean, mainly because I don't know if they would want to go with 9 or 10 specifically, because why would they go with those over like 11? But I will say that his Hanzo Hasashi design in Mortal Kombat 10, where he's unmasked and he's human, is one I've always really liked. But it wouldn't really work if he did the Flaming Skull stuff with his human face out being Hanzo Hasashi. So maybe they won't do like the unmasked Hanzo Scorpion thing, which was kind of more of a exclusive thing for Mortal Kombat 10 anyway, or Mortal Kombat X, if some of you guys want to call it. So maybe instead they will stick to just having one signature look for Scorpion, probably based off his Mortal Kombat 2 appearance, because it's not too far off from his Mortal Kombat 1 appearance anyway, and the Mortal Kombat 3 appearance, while I really like the Mortal Kombat 3 appearance, I don't know, I feel like 2 is just the more iconic one, but maybe we'll see. We'll see what we get with Mortal Kombat. And yeah, that's basically, I don't have too much to add here. Those are my main points. What I like to always do with these videos though is I like to say how it could even actually be possible. And the fun thing is about Mortal Kombat is I actually have no idea if Nintendo wants to do this. To me, I just feel like Scorpion is a very iconic, popular character that would actually work and be hype. Like, I don't think people would be hyped for Ryu Hayabusa. I don't think people would be hyped for Travis Touchdown. I don't think people would be hyped for a lot of characters that people are proposing involving these involving Super Smash Bros. DLC characters. As far as Steve or whatever. But I think Scorpion would be one a lot of people would say, "Oh yeah, that's super dope." And I think that's important to remember. Is this would get people energized and want to play the game? Now, I don't know if they want more fighting game characters in the game. They already have Ryu and Ken, and they said a long time ago that they weren't really wanting to put other fighting game characters in. But the thing that makes Ryu and Ken work is that Ryu and Ken and the movements from Street Fighter actually lend themselves well for a game like Super Smash Bros. I always wanted Heihachi for a long time, but apparently in an interview, Sakurai said something along the lines of Heihachi's movements don't work as well for a game like Smash Brothers, and he's totally true. It's totally true. It's totally correct. Ryu's movements seem so 1-to-1. It actually fits his game perfectly. He actually just lends himself to Smash already, and some of that is thanks to games like Marvel vs. Capcom, but he already works. Scorpion would work a lot better in Smash than a character like Heihachi Mishima. So and this is also a thing. We've had crossovers with Capcom versus SNK, where Ryu got to fight the likes of Ryo and Terry and all the other King of Fighters characters. that people kind of compare him to over the years. Um, Ryu also got to be in Street Fighter Cross Tekken, where he had to battle characters like Jin, Heihachi, and Kazuya, characters from the Tekken universe. Ryu does these crossover games all the time. And while Marvel crossovered with Capcom, DC is what crossovered with Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers and DC is what crossovered with Mortal Kombat. So Scorpion has got to fight the likes of Batman and Superman, while Ryu's got to fight the likes of Spider-Man and Wolverine. So seeing these two collide in a different game would be insanity. It would be a dream come true for so many people who've always wanted to see Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat in the same universe. But with one of the issues being that their games are just so fundamentally different. Mortal Kombat just doesn't exist in a world that would make crossing over with Street Fighter that possible or easy to do. So now, if it was in a Smash Brothers game, this crossover could be a realistic goal. Now, because Warner Brothers owns Mortal Kombat, we do get to a weird territory where is Nintendo willing to make this happen? But the funny thing is, it can't be that hard. First of all, they both work in the games industry, but not only that, Mortal Kombat and Injustice and all those games, they always come to Nintendo consoles. They always come to Nintendo systems. Nintendo is fully aware of Mortal Kombat. There's no way they're not. And Mortal Kombat 11 is going to debut on the Switch right alongside the other versions. To me, it just makes sense. It feels like, of course, Nintendo should be willing to negotiate and discuss this to make a character like Scorpion a a complete possibility. Now, like I said, the Scorpion does have some things going against him because, like I already stated, he's another fighting game character, and it could be weird if there's too many fighting game characters in Smash, especially because his down smash would probably be another sweep similar to Ryu's, and his up smash would be an uppercut similar to Ryu's, but that would just be the only way to make it, work for Scorpion. His other moves would totally be unique to him and make Scorpion work as a character, and, it's totally worth it having this character in, but we just don't know if that's what Sakurai is willing to do. If you could only get one character from, if you could only get one like fighting game franchise, because Ryu and Ken are both in the game. If you could only get like one franchise to where you get one character, and if they have potential for an echo, you can get an echo out of them, and that's what we got with Ryu and Ken. If you can only get one fighting game, do it for. Street Fighter was totally the right call. It's the right choice, not just because Capcom and Mega Man were already in the game, but it just is the right choice. Like, Ryu is the most iconic character in fighting games, and it just makes the most sense for Super Smash Brothers. And he also fits perfectly with the theme of Super Smash. His movement fits well, his style fits well, his music fits well. Everything about Street Fighter works perfectly in Super Smash Brothers. So this was a really great idea, and Smash was really excited, and they celebrated Ryu and Street Fighter being in the game, even enough to put Guile in as an assist trophy, and even enough to put Ken in as an Echo Fighter. So, just like how Castlevania got a big section in the game, Street Fighter got a big section in the game too. That seemed to be something that Sakurai and Sora Limited and Nintendo were really happy to work with, was Ryu and Street Fighter. I would love to see at least an ounce of that for Mortal Kombat, especially since Mortal Kombat is such a different game. But when you talk about all these other characters, I just have to say, Scorpion does have a lot of these characters beat as far as popularity goes. And not just popularity right now, but popularity throughout all of time. Everyone knows Scorpion. Everyone knows Mortal Kombat. It's a household name. Whether it be that it got popular thanks to blood and gore versus its actual gameplay, it did get popular, and people know these games, people know these characters, and people love it. So, to me, in my opinion, let's include that kind of popularity, and let's get that in the game. To me, it fits, and it's worthy, and it deserves it. The only thing the only thing I worry is that I don't know if Sakurai wants another fighting game character. But if you're gonna, if you guys are gonna come at me and say, let's put the Doom guy in, no, Scorpion puts a Doom guy to shame in terms of popularity. Let's put other characters in. I mean, what's some of the other popular characters people say? Scorpion really is more popular than all of them. I mean, he's just a super popular character. So, yeah, in my like, maybe Sora is still more popular than Scorpion, because we especially have to consider like the Japanese market as well. But from what I understand, Mortal Kombat is popular in Japan too. Mortal Kombat's popular everywhere. Okay, it's just a popular franchise. So to me, it's just a no-brainer. Like, yes, there might be a few characters we could mention here and there that deserve it more, who are more popular. Of course, Master Chief is probably one of them, but that's like Master Chief is when you are talking about like a character from another first-party company like Microsoft. Who else is there from a third-party company or a first-party company owned by Nintendo still? Which the answer is there is none that's beat Scorpion. Um, that can be more popular than Scorpion. So to me, I just feel like, as far as terms of popularity goes, we've come to this weird place where we already have Mega Man, and then the next most popular character was Simon, who never got included, but a lot of us didn't think they were going to include another Konami character at all. And luckily, we got Snake and Simon coming. The fact that you can get Snake back means, yes, let's get Simon in. He was definitely the next choice for classic video game characters. And now we're in this weird position where, well, we also already have Cloud and Ryu, who are also super important, popular video game characters. So we're getting to the point where, like, who is left? Who's left that's really iconic? We have everyone. So like we even have Pac-Man now. So like, really, who's left? And by golly, I want a game where I can play a Scorpion and kill Pac-Man. That sounds hilarious and fun. I want a game where you can play a Scorpion and do a fatality to Isabelle. Can someone make me fan art of that? Who do I have to commission to get fan art of Scorpion pulling his face off, revealing a burning skull, and incinerating incinerating Isabelle with a flamethrower mouth? Like, yeah, yes, I know Bowser can do that to her too, but I want it to be Scorpion. I want Scorpion to kill Isabelle. I mean, that's just a dream come true for me. I'm not even knocking against Isabelle. I just think it's funny to have that juxtaposition with characters who are so cutesy, and a character like Scorpion, who's not just a ninja with weapons, but an angry, violent man who's yelling at people, saying, "Get over here!" Like, and then ripping them to shreds and like making them bleed, which obviously wouldn't be blood in Smash, but he would, just trying to actually kill people. Like, that sounds like a lot of fun. And that's what Smash should be all about. It should be all about fun. So, yeah, I'm really pulling for Scorpion. I think that would, he's a character who I kind of was like, whatever, he's not going to happen, and brushed it aside for a long time. But a lot of the characters I have left predicting, really, I mean, I don't think they. I've said this before, but like we have Bayonetta in the game, which proves that we can have brutal characters in the game. I mean, she beheads people with guillotines. She entraps people in Iron Maidens. She fucking does a bunch of shit to torture monsters. I say people, but I meant monsters. And it might not be as bad because it's monsters, but still. But we're at this point where we have gone past the A-list characters, and now we're on the B-list characters. And then Bowser Jr. happened. And to me, the fact that Bowser Jr. is in Smash 4 means we were on the C-list characters, which meant we could open Bayonetta with open arms, as she is like a C-lister. And that's also when we got Shulk and stuff like that, too. We're on the C-list territory. Now we have Joker. I don't think Joker is a C-lister, but I would consider characters like Cloud, Snake, Simon, Sonic to all be A-list characters. I think as far as the guest characters go, the only guest character who's not an A-lister is probably Bayonetta. And so I would say Joker is kind of fits that role where he's more of a B-lister. I still think Persona 5 is a super important game, and the Persona franchise is very important. But he is probably the go-to best choice of any Persona protagonist. So I mean, hell, if Joker in Persona 5 wasn't as good, I don't think there would have been a character from Persona 4 in Smash. I don't think you from Persona 4 would have gotten to be DLC in Smash Ultimate if Persona 5 never came out. Okay, I just don't see that. I think Persona 5 really uh, revitalized the game. It made the old fans of Persona happy, but it also brought in a lot of new fans to the Persona games as a whole. So, what I don't, what I'm saying here is that we're allowed to have some less popular video game characters, but Scorpion, he's not the most iconic fighting character because Ryu exists, and even Heihachi, I would argue, is really important. Scorpion predates Heihachi, and he's way more popular than characters like Terry Bogard even, who I don't think Terry Bogard has the mainstream popularity to be in the game, even if he's another Japanese fighting game character. I don't think SNK has a hell. I don't think SNK has a chance at all of getting any character in. I just sorry SNK. I don't. You guys, you don't have anything. You have nothing to offer. I think that Scorpion, however, has everything to offer. So he might be a crazy out there choice, but just think about how badass that would be. I mean, Scorpion from Mortal Kombat and Smash Brothers. To me, that's a dream, and I think it could only happen as DLC. I don't think he like. Whereas I would say, oh, character like Gino or Daisy happened, Dixie Kong, stuff like that. Even Waluigi, who he's always deconfirmed by being an assist trophy anyway. These characters would have to be in the game as the base roster already. They can't be DLC. A character like Scorpion can't be in the base roster. He kind of needs to be DLC. Same with Joker from Persona 5. He didn't. There's no way. Like, he needed to be DLC. Is different. Simon is different. Joker needed to be, like, DLC. So, because of that, yeah, I think that Scorpion is not a lost cause. I think he has an extremely high real chance. The only question is I just don't know how Sakurai feels about another fighting game character. But I bet you that on that list of characters Nintendo had suggested, Scorpion has a real, he probably was on the list. Whether he ends up being DLC or not, Scorpion was probably on that list. So it's up to Sakurai at the end of the day. I think Nintendo probably was down with it. So we will see what happens. But just the idea that Scorpion is a real possibility makes me fucking happy. I want to see that. I want that to happen. So maybe it won't happen, maybe it will, but if it does, I think it could work out perfectly, and I'd be really hyped. I think a lot of people would be hyped. I'm going to end this video here before I start repeating my points too much, and I'll see you guys in the next one.